Oh, okay, okay. So we'll start in 10 minutes, guys. But yeah. Oh, who's that?
That's me.
There's you. Yeah. Now everyone can just listen to us talk.
Yeah. This is definitely not awkward at all.
Definitely not.
Nope.
Okay, wait. Can everyone hear us though? That's the main thing. Can everyone hear us? I know. Everyone just say yeah in chat if you can hear us.
Yeah, it looks like they can.
yes. Love it. Okay, cool. Always someone that says no.
Yeah.
Alright, cool. At least everyone can hear us. That's good. Yo, I guess we'll start in 2 minutes.
Oh my god. Wow. Oh, Lenscraft. They're on here. That's awesome.
Hey? Oh,
The Lenscraft
Oh.
guys. Or at least their account.
Probably leaping.
Yeah, probably Leaping Lin.
Yeah. Oh, love leaping. He's a good man.
What a guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Do some typing. Yeah, my keyboard's quite light up. Keep it a bit to the side.
Hey,
Who is that?
Yeah. It's another one that can talk.
Pancho.
Yeah, we got another one that can talk.
Yeah.
Wait, how many of them can talk? You, me. Oh god,
Who was that guy?
I went.
What?
Oh, someone can talk.
What?
What? Everyone's muted, someone who can talk. Okay.
Yeah, that's odd. Okay.
Oh, well. Oh, right, okay. I see. But yeah, but that's weird, like, you can talk, but you're muted. But it says you're muted.
Yeah.
Interesting. Ooh, people stacking
Dude,
in.
this guy restarts. He's got a thing for you.
Cool.
Aw. Thank you, Restarts.
Can we just not talk about my voice? I remember people mentioning my voice last time.
Jason, your voice is very scucks.
Very scucks, yeah.
Yeah.
Just... Ooh. Wow. 7 minutes. Woo. But yeah, I guess everyone that's here now, I guess. Yeah, everyone here that's here now, it's not going to be a thing that's going to be like showing massive ass builds or how to build really big ass builds. It's basically just the basics, or some of the basics, because a lot of builders are different mixed abilities here. Of course. Can't just go into fancy ass techniques when there's some people that don't even know the basics. Wouldn't make sense to everyone. Yeah. Context Minecraft. I think we're going to start with that question, what is Minecraft? Yeah. Definitely going to start with that question. And I'm probably going to have to mute that chat somehow. Alright. We've got 5 minutes. 5 minutes, okay. This time I'm going to try and keep to the time limit and not go half an hour over. How do I feel with all these silent people sitting here listening to you? Well, had this last year. Went through all that last year, so this is nothing new.
Do you feel judged?
This is nothing new. Oh, mansions. Wow, that noise is going to get really annoying really soon. But oh well. We'll start soon. Please time tick a little faster. Actually, what I'll do, before we get started, I'll just have a quick toilet break. So I'm not busting your head. Okay. We're ready to go, so let's see. Put that sorted. Yep. Okay, so everybody that is in spectator mode, it's not going to stop you from watching this, right? It's not going to stop you from watching it. No, you can all still see it all. So it doesn't matter if you're a spectator, it doesn't matter if you're survival or creative or whatever. You can still see what's going on. So yeah, that's good. Okie dokie. So I'll just start now. So for the people that don't know me, my name's Jason, and known as Necrosys to a lot of people. Hello, guys. So yeah, most people call me Jason nowadays, so you can just call me Jason. Might change my name later on. Hello. I am recently part of Blockworks. A lot of you probably should know what Blockworks is by now. They're quite a well-known team. And yeah, that's pretty much me. Outside the Minecraft building, I do a lot of education work with Minecraft, and right now I'm doing architecture at uni, so I'm going to be using Minecraft within my first and second years to help with my architecture courses. So that's a little background about me. So we'll start with what I'm doing, context in Minecraft. So context in Minecraft, if you're looking at the context, it's basically everything around the architecture and what affects what you're building. So if you're looking at, for example, you've got a big piece of land where you're going to be building. You've got this terrain, this preset terrain that maybe someone else has built or you have built. You look at the terrain, you look at how it's built, and that's going to decide what you're going to build, rather than building something and then plopping it onto some terrain at the end. So there's a whole lot of other factors as well. That's just the physical factors of context. There is more factors than that. I will get into those shortly. So I don't want to complicate everything with this, because a lot of you here would probably be very beginner in building as well. There'll be quite a lot of experts, but there'll be some beginners, so I want to keep it simple. I have a bunch of maps outside this map, so I'm just going to grab some and bring them in. So yeah, just bear with me, guys, because I've got to grab some stuff from the outside. Hopefully this works as planned. Okie dokie. So all of you can see what I've just pasted in, right? Okay, cool. So right now I've just got a bit of sample terrain. This is how I'm going to the thing with the ship. Ignore the ship for now. We'll get to that soon. So right now we've got a little bit of terrain. You can see got some gravel down below with a few little streams going through. If you guys are asking me questions, I'm not going to answer them until the end of this, so don't even bother. So the terrain we've got here, what you want to do is look at it and examine it and see what's going on. Say, for example, over here we've got some cliffs. Over around the side, got a few. It's a steep terrain. Down below we've got a flowing river. And even if you're looking at the terrain and how it's shaped, the side's a little steeper than the side, which means from here, this is where the river's coming from. It's flowing towards the back. That can also help you out with what you're going to decide on building, basically. It is just terrain, but the terrain can tell you a lot about what you're going to build from then on. So what I want to do is point out the terrain can tell you a lot about what you can build. So I'll grab another one in a sec, and I want you guys to start telling me a bit about what you've examined from the terrain. Tell me a bit about it. Because yes, what we look at there's the simple things. There's like well, there's water and there's a hill. Well, there's more than that if you actually look. Okay. Cool. So this one is taking a bit. Okay, what do we examine from this? Put in chat, what can you see from this? Okay, I see a lot of hilltops. A lot of snow. Good to hear a dark box in the mountains. Eroded. I can see a few points about erosion, so that's good. Picking out there's a bit of erosion going on here. Sorry, mountains. Someone picked out that it looks difficult to build on. Definitely because of how the angle of it is. It's very difficult because that can definitely help out with what you're going to build later on. Because you're not going to put, say, what would you say? Maybe like a church or something. You're not going to put a church on some sort of hill like this. And yes, there's snow and leaves, obviously, yeah. And it's very steep, so you're not going to put a regular church on here. It's going to have something with large supports, something to hold up a large structure. It'll be a cold climate. So yeah, cold climate, there we go. That's something else that's going more into the context rather than just what you're looking at. It's a cold climate. You're going to get structure that you'd find in a cold area. Something like you got Greenland, Iceland. Up north you've got my country, which gets quite cold down south. That sort of stuff. Yeah, I'll grab another one. So a lot of you are picking out, yes, there is it's just cliffs and there's snow on it. But some of you picked out there's actually a little more to it, which I'm looking for. Let me grab another one. Okay. I like how you're trying to guess what the pictures are. Alright, this next one. Probably want to come to the left side of it. Okay. So yeah, what are we picking out? So I see this coastline is waterfall. Close to waterfall, it's more of a downhill river, like a steep river. Very steep, yeah. Alright. Good soil for plant life. I like the sound of that one. Vegetation, yeah. So we're seeing it. We're pointed out a few obvious ones, but we've also seen that there's more to it. What could you possibly put on a terrain like this? Like this sort of stuff. It's like log cabin type material, right? What was it? Farmhouse. You could have farmhouses. This could be some sort of farmhouse, maybe up in the hills. Like a sheep farm or some sort. There's a lot of them in the UK. Not the New Zealand sheep, I'm talking about the UK sheep. House coming in the mountain. So yeah, you could have a house coming out and possibly a large cantilever coming out over the mountain. Instead of something that's sunken in, you can have a cantilever coming out. Watermill's always an idea, definitely because you've got flying water, you've got moving water. It could produce energy, it could produce electricity from the moving water. A dock is definitely an idea. You could have a dock, but thinking about it, you've got this could be a small lake, or you've got a waterfall leading to a small lake. You don't really want have boats on the lake because where the boats can exit. It's quite a small area. Anything else? But I'm liking the watermill idea, definitely harnessing the flow of the river. Yep, okay. So we'll move on to the next one. Need some trees. You can always have some trees in there. Okay, so you guys are getting the hang of it, alright? So next one I'm going to start bringing in a little build. I think some of you already snuck in and had a look at it. And you guys gone, oh, you're going to bring the boat thing in. So yeah, I'll bring that in now. If at all during this hour that I somehow just vanish for like a minute or two, it'll be because my New Zealand internet is really, really bad and it just cuts out a lot. So if I just vanish all of a sudden, that'll be why. Yeah. Okay, let me just grab the next thing. So yeah, I have pre-made a small build that I'll be explaining through, because since it's past 5 AM here, I don't really want to be building at 5 AM. It's not ideal. Okay. Let me just get rid of these distractions as well. Okay. So what we have here is a small island, small few islands, okay? A few small islands. It's definitely not New Zealand. But yeah, what can we get from this? Where would you find these sorts of islands? Looking at a few of them, a few volcanic islands I see is, yeah, smaller islands. Map, close to the shore. Definitely some good ideas there. Bahamas, I think a few of you guys are picking out a lot of coastal stuff, a lot of Bahamas. Marshlands, narrow passageway, that's always good. I like the narrow passageway one actually. Who was that said that? Oh, no, that was good. That's a good idea. You notice that there's a really small area here through to the next section of the water that can also play a lot in what you want to build. So for example, the next section of what I'm going to be putting in, will be relating to that, how there's such a small passage, it's really shallow water. So I'll put in the next step and I'll explain through that and why did. Right. It's a boat, little boat. Okay. So yeah, first stage here I've done is just a small boat. Okay. So I've got a little boat hull here. Why have I put it here? Many reasons why. Looking at what I saw before with the small gap between here, obviously some ships aren't going to be able to get through. It's gonna beach some of them. Obviously this ship has crashed into the side. It's a shipwreck, basically, what you guys have said. And I've chosen to do a shipwreck because lots of small scattered islands, it's not open water, so the ships are going to find it harder to get through, and hence the ship has crashed in this instance. Alright, So yeah, small ship. Oh, okay, what's your question, Roxy? I'll just do one quick question just throughout, but yeah, most questions will be at the end. Okay. So yeah, shipwreck. I'll grab the next step. Okay. So we're going to go to the next step. Okay, and you guys please don't spam. Don't spam, please. Oh, Rob asked why the ships don't have sails. Okay. So what I've done here, I've left the sails out completely because possibly I want to do something more, but I don't want it to just be a normal ship with sails added on. Maybe I want to have something else, and I'll bring that up later. Possibly it could have been scavenged. It could have been there for a while. It could have been scavenged. Someone could have come in and taken all the parts for other reasons. Why is it not pasted? Okay, it's pasted. Okay. So the next part I've done, I've started adding platforms. These platforms, even though they're just wood planks, in theory, they could be scavenged from the sails, cut down and used as platforms for possibly a town, possibly something growing out of here. Yeah, please stop TPing to me, guys. So what I've decided, because it's a shipwreck, because it's still intact, it's not like sunken, it's not broken, it's still intact. I've decided to go on from that and turn it into something useful. So I've got a few platforms from here. I'm just going to from here I'm going to add a few things. I've got in the back I've got a few little walkways. What have I got here? Bit of platforms at the front and the back. And that's where I'm going to start building more off next year. So a lot of you can, I'm guessing, figuring out what I'm going to be adding next. So you can see where my steps are coming from what I'm doing. You can kind of predict what's going to come next. So I've started with a few small basic structures. You guys can notice that it's not highly detailed, it's really simple detail. Because all I'm doing is getting the shapes. A lot of you guys can say low detail, it's not that flash, because that's how it starts. You start with the basic shape. Alright? So yeah, I've decided to put a few structures on this. And why is that? Why have I put structures on here? Because there's lots of grass around. It means there is the potential to start a civilization. There is potential to add plants and trees. So there is that ability to have structure there, have people live there. If there wasn't grass, I wouldn't put buildings. I would put something else. I would put some natural features, maybe big rock formations, because technically people cannot live there, cannot sustain themselves without grass, water, or everything around them. I have copied it wrong for some reason. I don't know why I had copied it wrong. Yeah. Oh, it's cut off the top. Lovely. Love it. Yeah, I don't know why it's not gonna write. Why are you not working? Hang on. Must be really well off. I don't know why it's not doing it. Okay. Now it's looking a little better. Alright. That's all intact, yeah. Yep. Okay. So we'll go to the next part. Oh, and someone's asked me why I have chosen the blocks. Okay. The blocks I've chosen. So what I have here, I have bricks, I have bone blocks, I have sandstone. That makes up the majority of the structure here. These materials that I've chosen make up approximately what you can find within the site. So bricks made from obviously clay. You can find clay near water. Obviously there will be clay around the water, so I've decided to use the clay sort of materials. Sandstone, compacted sand, so there's a lot of sand around here. Alright. Bone blocks, well, they don't really exist in real life, but I've used them here because the bone block basically is, in Mojang's theory, a compressed form of bones. Basically fish skeletons or whale skeletons and stuff that you'd find underneath the sand in the water, and that's why I've used that. So all the materials are completely used from here. Obviously some of them aren't going to be able to be found on site, for example the snow blocks, which you guys are picking out. Some of them are going to have to be brung in. So yeah, most of it is going to be found on site. That's what I've gone for. I wanted to keep, basically I'm looking at budget on this project. I want to find everything from here. The acacia wood, I mean, how many of you can actually go inside this boat? There's a bit of inside the boat, but you know. Scavenge from inside the boat. I couldn't show you that, but yeah. Just sounds like I should say. Yeah, you guys have probably figured out by now that I am sort of winging it in a way. I mean, I know what I'm saying, but yeah, winging it is always good because it's never going to go to plan. Exactly. Wing it. So yeah, just please don't ask me questions, guys. I'll answer them at the end, by the way. Okay, hopefully this pastes all right. Okay. It pasted right? Did it paste right? Yeah. Yep. Okay. Okay, so from here, I've started adding a bit of detail to this. Alright? The diamonds, ignore the diamonds for now, they are just filler blocks, they're replacement blocks. Of course, the sales are really expensive. I know that, but they're just the replacement blocks for now. Alright? But yeah, ignoring those diamond blocks, everything else started placing a bit more detail to the structure. I would obviously add a bit more detail if this was a larger build, but I got to keep it within the, I think it's a 40 block height here that I have. So before I looked at the budget of everything using materials that are available to me as well, I've observed the context of everything around me and I've used that within my build. So from there, I can start adding more details, which I have started doing. The details from now on, they won't reflect the context because I've already worked on the context. I've already figured out in a basic way what I want to build. So yeah, from here I've added a few angled sails because obviously it's a shipwreck. It's not going to be all straight. Alright, so got a few little guide ropes for holding everything in place. Don't need to make the terrain more extreme. The terrain that I began with, it can be anything. That's how I'm built. This is one of my opinions on how I build. So I start with the terrain, I look at the terrain and judge based on the context of it, based on physical aspects, based on cultural aspects, that sort of stuff. Figure out what I want to do with that, and then I build from there. It's basically all part of the research. So yeah, I see something bring up the Paris attacks. I mean, this might not reflect to the build basically, but that's an example of the cultural influence of a build. Something that affects the build because, yeah. Whoa. Yeah, someone should probably ban that boy. Yeah. Okay, next step. And I'll be finishing up this shortly, and then I'll just have questions later for quite a bit, because I don't want to just pack on a whole lot of stuff for everyone first up. Just want to get something basic, get everyone started into BuildCon, and then just have a nice little light chat on some of the stuff. Little thing out of the lighthouse, the thing at the top that I'm standing in front of. No? Little thing at the front. Yeah? Yeah? Yeah, the one on the boat. Oh, the front here. This one. Okay. Man, that is just a small ship cannon, basically. And I haven't built anything using the new snapshot because we can't put it on the server because the server is 1.11. But yeah, please, I'll answer all the questions at the end. Wait, did I grab the next step? I don't know if I grabbed the next step or not. Plant life will come shortly. I'll show you that. I think. Did I grab the next step? I'm not sure. The variety in wood. Well, the ship came with a lot of varieties of wood, so. Yeah, I'll just hold up all the questions till the end. We're getting close to question time anyway. I don't want to, yeah, I don't want to be running all that right now. Probably not that. Okay. Okay, so. From here I've added a bit more extra detail and a bit of colour to the sail. A little cannonball out here as well, showing that this is part of a cannon salvaged from the ship. Obviously you couldn't see it before, but yes, it relates to the ship, so that's why it's there. Bit of foliage around also shows that this structure has been here for a while. There's different ways you can show how it's been there. The grass overgrowth can show that's been a structure has been standing still for possibly about half a year to a year. I mean, I've seen a lot of builds around the community with rust and that sort of stuff built onto it. That can show that a build's been sitting around for maybe 50 to 100 years. So the small little details on the builds can show how long a build has been around for as well, and the age, how much it's aged and all that. So yeah, I'm still going to answer all the questions at the end. Yeah, stop asking questions, guys. I'm going to answer them shortly. Vegan, no, I'm not a vegan. Alright. And we'll go to the last stage. Was that the right one? Yep. Okay. So from here I've added a bit of vegetation, which you guys can see a few little trees. And that just adds to the atmosphere of everything. And yeah, a bit of vegetation. Bit of tall grass, bit of short grass. There's quite a bit of grass on here. A few grass and trees. It shows that this area is obviously uncared for. So that's the difference between obviously areas that are like, you know, towns and cities and stuff. The grass is going to be kept well clean and all that. There's not going to be much grass around. And then you've got areas out, who knows where this is. It's going to be untamed grass. It's going to be wild. You've got lots of lily pads as well. It's unwild. It's not cared for. Since when does ships shoot cannons? I don't know. When does it? It's completely creative. It's up to you what you do with it. Log in the water. Yeah, I can add a log in the water as well. I'll add one right now. There you go, log in water. So that's another good example of how the detail of a build shows how much the build is aged or how long it's been around for. Tree falling down, it's not been cleaned up yet. It shows that the build's been around for a while. No one's there to clean it up. Alright. So that build that I just showed you copy only took me about 15 minutes to make, 15, 20 minutes, but it just shows you some basics on thinking about the context of everything, and then once you've got the basics, the basic ideas, you can just start building off from that. Because a lot of people, they sit there and they go, oh, what could I build? Am I just going to go onto Pinterest and look up some concept art and then copy that figure exactly to scale? I mean, a lot of people do that nowadays. I even do that sometimes. I did that maybe about 3 or 4 months ago, but I started developing my own way of thinking. Little Boat, exactly. Little Boat, it was shaped off a concept art that I grabbed from some other place. I wasn't too happy about that myself. I didn't really think about that. But since then I've started using this way of thinking. For example, the free Wi-Fi. I was thinking about what kind of stuff goes on in 2017, what's dominant in 2017. A lot of people are using social media. Social media is huge in 2017. The whole world is controlled by it. Yeah. I mean, you guys can explore some of the stuff later on that I mean. So yeah, pointing out some of the stuff now. Look, you've got, what is some recent activity? You've got the guy getting kicked off the plane from the United company. That could influence possibly something to do with build. You've got, what was it, one of the big things, you've got Trump and you've got North Korea at the moment in tight tension, as well as Russia. That could influence sort of war builds, which I'm seeing a lot of recently. A lot of war builds. See, look, the Pepsi ad as well, of course. That's looking at the cultural context of everything, real world things that are going on around you, and using that to make some builds. And of course, you've got the Syrian stuff, the ISIS war that has been going on for 6 years now. And diagonal builds. I saw a diagonal build question. The diagonal builds, you don't want to force it. You don't want to be forcing diagonal builds. You only do the diagonal builds if it's necessary. And the diagonal builds, basically, you could either build it flat and deform rotate it, which is what a lot of people do nowadays, because it's nice and simple. Or you could try and build it off axis based on floor plans and all that. And cannibalize it in motion. It's in motion because I'm just adding a bit of action to the scene. This is more of a scene rather than a functional build. What country I'm from? I'm from New Zealand. But yeah. I would go on more about this build. I'll go on more about some other stuff as well, but I don't want to be doing too much. So what I'll do is I'll nestle down a bit. I'll just answer a few questions, or 20 minutes worth of questions, and chat about stuff to do with the community, because that's what we're here for. BuildCon, we've got to chill and have a bit of fun. So I'll go through a few questions. Okay, let's see. Okay, I'll look at a question about even blocks. Should you build in even blocks at times? I wouldn't. I would recommend using even blocks at sometimes. I mean, a lot of people build with just odds, usually, and odd blocks, because they like the symmetrical stuff. I like the asymmetrical stuff that's a little differently shaped. And I think you should build based on what's needed rather than making something look completely symmetrical, completely equal on both sides. What else we got? What is my favorite thing I've made? My favorite build I've made? It would probably have to be the recent build I did free Wi-Fi, because I managed to build that with my little brother, and that was something special to me because I got to actually do something with him, which I recently haven't been able to. I haven't been able to do much with him. So being able to do what I love with my brother was really cool. Do you think a structure should be architecturally accurate? Depends on the context of it, basically. Like what I've been saying, it depends on the context. Are you building it for a city? If it's a city, then it should be architecturally accurate. It should fit the laws of physics. But if it's a fantasy style thing, it can bend the rules a little bit. Let's see what else is there. Does your girl... Sorry, I don't have a girl, so no. Why don't you use a lever on your deck as an in-game microphone? Don't need a microphone. Hang on. Oh, so many questions. Do you have a favorite block to build with? My favorite block to build with probably would be quartz block, because it's pretty functional. I mean, you can do it with quite a lot of stuff. I just love the block. And ideas. What do we see? I saw something about the terracotta blocks. Opinion on the terracotta blocks. I think I love the terracotta blocks. How they've designed them, how you could put them in shapes of 2x2, and then you could expand them to possibly 4x4 shapes, 8x8, 16x16. You can make even bigger shapes and big designs. I think that's really creative as well. I want to see builds in the future using those terracotta blocks, making giant flooring patterns and stuff. They would look really cool like that. And I'm excited to see what people can create in the future. Okay, what other questions can I pick out? How do you imagine what to build? I don't imagine what to build, to be honest. I start with the terrain, I look at the terrain, and then from there, I just start building from based on what it is. Oh god, there's so much. How long does it normally take you to plan out your builds and build them? Okay. Planning out the builds for me depends on the size. Usually takes about a day of planning. A lot of the ways I do a few ways. I can't really explain a few of the ways because some of it's NDA to the team that I'm with. Can't really spill some of those. But a lot of the planning is by looking at online images, maybe sketching a few. I've started sketching a few of my references because that's part of my architecture course. Finding keywords as well and key ideas. Also looking at, like what I said before, the cultural context, everything. I don't use levers as in-game microphones because I don't really need to. What else we got? There's so much to answer. What new types of blocks would you like to see added to the game? I'll answer that. Okay. New types of blocks. Well, I'm liking the concrete idea, the concrete blocks coming in. That will be very useful. But I want to see some more ideas or more blocks from like more modern age. I want to see marble. I want to see more slabs, like you guys probably want to see, but vertical slabs as well. Vertical slabs would help a lot. So marble. I don't know. There's heaps that I want to see. Maybe, God knows. Who was your favorite builder? Ooh, who was my favorite builder? I don't have one favorite builder. I mean, I'm pretty amazed by quite a few of them, I'd say. There's a lot of builders that maybe when I started 2 or 3 years ago, I looked up to as, as probably some of you say, as Minecraft gods. I mean, I've got Sean next to me now. He was definitely one that I looked up to. There was Ragor as well. There was Notix, Circlite. A lot of the older, say, Blockworks, Gazamo builders, some of the Athean or Mithrintia builders back in the day. I looked up to them. Yeah, but nowadays I look at the builders that I see heavily improve, have done improvements. They're just gone from nothing to top. CJ Rainbow has come out from being hidden on Cepha, and he's come out to make a big name for himself. Advio has come as well from Cepha as well, not being a known builder, and he's come out and been one of the standout builders. One of my friends, Spoiders, has also come from being a Myplex builder, and he's really quickly improved. So a few of those builders I've really loved. What else we got? Ooh, what was that? Any advice for builders so that they can improve their builds? I would say the best way to improve is to just examine other people's builds. Don't ask them a bunch of questions. Don't bother them. Don't pester them to come and build with you to get better. Just watch what they're doing, maybe. Somehow get on and watch what they're doing. Maybe download one of their builds and examine how they build it. That's how I build. That's how I've seen a lot of people who have become really good nowadays build. I get better. That's definitely a good way to get better. Are you currently or in the future going to study architecture? I am currently studying architecture. I'm only 6 weeks into architecture for the first year, and I'm at the moment at an A- average, so we're going good. But yeah, I want to use this Minecraft stuff within the architecture course later on. I want to see how that goes. What else we got? Why shouldn't you make structures before adding terrain? Like, as I said at the beginning, this was just my way of building. This doesn't have to be your way of building. This is just one opinion of doing it. So you can build structures before adding terrain. That's perfectly fine. But this is just one of my opinions. This is just how I do it. You don't have to believe it. You don't have to take it this way, but it's up to you what you do with it. Let's see, what other questions have we got? What build teams have I been in? I started out in Team Valentor, which was run by Cake Icing, and I think, yeah, Cake Icing. I think there was a few others as well. I mean, she actually accepted me when I was like my first week in building, so I was pretty humbled to do that. And from there, I went from Valentor to another team called Wizry as well. I went to Ascend build team, and during Ascend, I became Blockworks Trial, but I wasn't ready for Blockworks yet. I was still quite new. Once I left Ascend, I went to Go Creative, spent about 14 months there, and then went to Blockworks after that. So that's my history, I guess. How did I come up with my username? I don't know how I came up with my username. I just said random words, and then I guess this one clicked. And yes, people picked out that it was a skin disease, but it just sounds cool. Elemental builds. The elemental builds one, I don't know how they came up with that. No clue. Do you believe there's still merit in builds focused on a display of technique rather than builds that illustrate a scene? Of course. Every build shows something different. There's a different context to everything. Some of the builds, like, personally, not too much of a fan of the really slab spammed stuff, but there is a story behind it. Yeah. There's also a story behind a lot of this slab spam. There could be a reason for why they did it. They're trying to display something. So every build, what I look for is there is a story. There's something that people are telling you from a build. Do you have a favorite build style? I do not have a favorite build style. All my builds, so well, you've probably seen a few of my builds. All my builds are just tests, basically. My proper builds are with teams. I do team builds, and that's when I probably use my styles. All my builds that I've done are usually under a week, and they're just testing styles. What's your experience with Minecraft rounds? A few weeks ago, us Blockworks guys played a bit of Minecraft rounds, just held by Hydraxis, and there was a bit of good fun. It's not NDA, boy. What else we got? Do you prefer bigger builds with maybe less detail or smaller builds with more intricate design? As I said before, I prefer both, as long as the builds tell something, tell us a story. If there's purpose behind why you've done a big build with small detail, I want to see that in a build. If you just done a big build because, oh, I want something big, then it's not going to be as good as a big build with a story behind it. So both can have, you know. Okay, what else is it? What else we got? Will you, after all these hours, turn off your Discord sounds? Never. Do you play anything besides Minecraft? I mean, a few of you guys picked out I played Rocket League. I play that with a few people. Other than that, I just work on my architecture homework. Yeah. If you could add any block to Minecraft, what would it be? I'd say marble. I love marble texture. That'd be cool. What's a good biome to build in survival or any game mode? Depends on what you want to do with your biome, I guess. If you want plains for big builds, obviously, if you want to do it in plains. Yeah, plains will probably be the best option, I think. What else we got? How long have you been building for? 3 years. I've been building for 3 years. Probably within about a week ago, it was been 3 years. So, yeah. What else have we got? How would you develop a palette? Like I did with my build previously, I just showed, some of the palette would reflect what is in the terrain. So materials that you can grab from the terrain there. That's what you want as base, as the base ones, the base palette. And from there, if you're going to add detail, you can start using other stuff. So that's just a personal opinion. But yo, if you're doing fantasy, you can just use whatever you like. Vertical slash A. What you... Okay, what else we got? Do you often apply architectural principles in your builds? I do when I'm doing like cities and town sort of stuff. I mean, you've got to use player scale and all that sort of stuff. Use proper physics. You can't just have a big overhang or something hanging out. It's got to have some sort of support to it. So I do apply those sorts of physics to it. Who would you like to see make a comeback that have quit during the years? Who would make a comeback? I know a lot of people used to love, I think it was, there was someone from Athens, I think, Lourdes, possibly? Angel Block guy? I think I'd like to see him come back. Because a lot of people talk about him in the days. I'd like to see what he's got. But yeah, Fire UK would also be a good team to come back. Only Craftological, yeah. What else have we got? Well, what do you think about the current state of competition between teams in the community? Ooh, getting into a bit of banter. I see. I think it's really stupid. I honestly think it's really stupid, all this competition. It shouldn't be competition that we're, like, for example, we're all here together in one area for BuildCon, all together doing the same thing. There should not be any competition. We should be all coming together, talking together and doing what we enjoy, which is building in Minecraft. That's pretty much it. There's no competition for clients. There's no competition for our team's better than you because we have better builders or we build bigger. That doesn't matter. That really doesn't matter. What matters is people looking up to other builders and saying, maybe I can build like that. I want to build like that. I'm going to put the effort in and build like them. Not, oh, yeah, he's good, but he's really bad at this. So, and he's part of this team, so he's bad. And Ludicrin, yeah, that's it. What else we got? What do you think about Circlate's recent comeback? I think Circlate's recent comeback was very underwhelming, I must say. I don't think a lot of people actually noticed that giant build that Circlate had made. I think it was 18 months or something, or a year or something that Circlate made on it. I spent all this time, and it was a massive build, and I luckily had the chance to look at it. I don't think it was really noticed as well. Yeah. What else we got? Is it possible to make money from building? Of course, it's possible to make money from building. A lot of people here are doing that, and that's what the competition is about. So yeah, you can make money from a lot of ways from Minecraft. Why Go Creative is now called Block MC? I don't know. You can't ask me that. You'd have to ask Florian or Brandon. Yeah. How do you know what kind of scale suits a specific build? Well, my way of doing it, I mean, just look at what the terrain is. Oh, just had a plane explosion. Ugh. Okay. Hang on. Whoa, Minecraft got an advantage. So much questions. I'm gonna have to like answer a bunch of these questions in another chat because I think I'm about to end with this thing. So see, does Minecraft get an advantage in architecture or vice versa? Yes, Minecraft does give an advantage. A lot of people saying, oh, Minecraft is pointless. It isn't pointless. It does help with architecture. All the research you do for builds, looking at different styles, looking at the composition of everything, that helps because that comes into architecture a lot. I've got a jump start on every one of my class because I know styles. I know the background to architecture. I know some of the architects. It does definitely help if you want to do that later on. What else we got? What is your favorite meal? Corn chips. How did you join a build team? Many different ways. Some ways I got contacted by the build owner or build team owners. Some ways I just joined them because my friends were in the team, and I was like, I want to build my friends, so they let me build my friends. Other way, and then the common way, I've done trial builds in the past, so there's many ways you can join. And what do I use to build my terrain? I'm not that good with World Painter, so I use Go Brush and Go Paint for a lot of it, as well as Voxel, Sniper, and a few of the hidden fast async world edit commands as well. Would you recommend middle tier builders to get an architecture education? I would recommend anyone that's interested in architecture to get an architecture education. Architecture isn't just something you do, it's a lifestyle, it's something you've got to enjoy. So if you enjoy architecture and it's something you want to do for the rest of your life, then you go for it. Let's see. Oh my god, so many questions. What are some good starter build teams? Ooh. I don't know. There's some really good ones. Like I've seen a few standouts today, just hopping around looking at the examples. I saw there was a bit of Sourcraft builds. There was, I think it was Alia Quam? Aliquam? Sorry? I can't remember how you say Aliquam or something. There was a build in there that was really good. Yeah. What was this? Do you think you could have ever gotten this good if you never joined a team? I'll tell you what made me good. What made me good is the day I stopped building on plot servers. I used to build on the Vardak build server, and I used to build plots on there, and that's where I began because my friend built there. And the day I left the plots, all the plot servers and all the restrictions, and the day I got rid of the world edit restrictions was the day I got better. I had nothing stopping me, nothing holding me back, and I just began to build bigger things, expand everything I did. Yeah. What else we got? What do you think of Grian? Grian. Personal opinion, because we was it me and Back and Go Creative, we did have a commission with him, but he was, I don't know, he was pretty defiant with what we were doing. I didn't really like him, but I mean, personally, but I mean, he's a good lad. I didn't get the chance to meet him at MyCon though. It would have been great to meet him at MyCon. Why would a team want to become single team exclusive? If you want people to be part of the community, then what would be the advantage of discouraging builders from reaching out to other teams? Can't really answer that one. I feel that would be an NDA question. Or a question to ask, possibly, the build team owners of my build team, I could say. What have we got here? Would you recommend joining a build team? I would recommend joining a build team. Not because it's going to make you better or anything. It's because you're going to make friendships, you're going to meet people in the community. And when you're building with other people, you're going to learn more. And that's what's going to help you, learning with other builders. So I would recommend joining a team. Not just for the status, but for learning. On a scale from 1 to 10, how much would you recommend doing MC full-time? I recommend 5 out of 10. Because there's pros and cons. If you're a really good builder, and I know there's only about I don't know, 5 or 6 people in the community that can sustain Minecraft full time and can dedicate enough time and have the speed to do it full time. But otherwise, I would do it as a part-time art expression program. Just express some of your thoughts. Maybe the occasional job, because I'm using it currently as the occasional one-off to get a little income so I can pay for my university course. But other than that, yeah. What have we got? Favorite project and why? Favorite project would have to be the Aeternium project that Blockworks did maybe about, I think it's about 2.5 years ago now, for the Industrial Revolution. I think that's what really got me into building, or really piqued my interest. And I explored that in game back then, and I was a really bad builder, and I was just like, wow, one day I want to be able to build like this. And yeah, that's what kind of pushed me to get better. Do I have a YouTube channel? No, I don't have a YouTube channel because my internet is really bad and I can struggle to stream and record stuff. But what I'm planning on doing is after this BuildCon event, I'm going to be making my own public server for anyone to just come on and check some of my stuff that I've been doing in my past. And possibly people if you want to just learn. It's not going to be my full-time thing because I still have my Blockworks server that I'll be working on. But it's just going to be somewhere where everyone can come together and chat and just build and possibly see some of the stuff that me and other people have made and just learn from that. So that'll be my idea. When buildings are no longer the focus. When buildings are no longer the focus, will create Minecraft die or thrive? Minecraft Creator won't die. It will never die, but Mojang will not let it because right now, with the Minecraft store opening as well, the recent update, which is bringing a whole lot of blocks, they're showing that there's still a lot of interest in the creative community. So the creative community won't die. And I'm 20 years old, by the way. 20 years old. People are asking. How do I find a place to build? There's many places you can build. I know Builder's Refuge is a good one, a pretty popular one nowadays. Cube Creative is definitely one that's been really popular because it's really picked up since their Minecraft article, I must say. Seeing about 100 people on there at points. Yeah, where am I studying architecture? I'm just studying architecture at the Unitech, which is just my local university, because I want to be able to build. I'll stay at home while I'm doing it. I have time for maybe about a few more questions, and then I'm going to have to head to another chat and continue the questions, I guess, because yeah. What kind of math is involved in architecture? I can't really answer much of that because the first year there's not much math involved. It's purely artistic, to test out your artistic abilities. From then on, the second and third year, a lot of the math will be basically just measurements. The math and physics side of architecture, that's usually for engineers and the draftsmen, the ones that focus on the stability of a build, basically, yeah, all the technical stuff of it. The architects are basically the ones that just design it. They send it to the draftsmen or the engineers, and they make sure it's physically able to like work. And if it doesn't work, they send it back to the architect and they redesign it. So that's what the architect does. Is there a place you will announce your server? I will announce my server probably on Twitter. So yeah, because that's what I've been using lately. I've been using Twitter. and it seems like a really good way to share. I'll check my Twitter in chat. So yeah, I will be announcing that later on. So we need to go. How do you feel about the colors changing in 1.12? I think some of those colors are really good. For example, what would it be? Some of the blocks, like the yellow block becoming more yellow. I think that's really nice. The cyan block also coming a bit more lighter as well. Most of them are coming lighter. I think I like that better. Oh, you've recorded it. Okay, cool. You can keep recording if you like. I'm going to answer a few more questions shortly in a different channel. But yeah. Would you ever create your own build team? No, I don't think I would create my own build team because apparently I just don't have the time for that. There's a lot of back-end stuff that goes into it, and I don't think a lot of members actually realize how much goes into running a build team. Like when I was on Go Creative, I wasn't the owner. I was one of the admins, and I still spent a hell of a lot of time working on leading builds, sorting out the builders of the team, sorting out some documents as well. Did a lot of that, and that was quite stressful. So big ups to everyone that runs teams. It's a hell of a lot of stress. But a lot of you guys are doing really well with it. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hop into another chat where you guys can talk as well, because we're going to have to move on with everything. Yeah. So yeah, we're going to have to move on. I don't want to hold you guys too long. Yeah, thank you for coming to the event. It was just a really brief one. You'll see when I move to the chat which one it is. Yeah, thanks for it, guys. And I hope everybody has fun at the BuildCon event because it's going to be a great, was it 4 or 5 days? It's going to be great 4 or 5 days. Alright, catch you later, boys. Let's just do a few little up and downs. And